Her shift started before private membership. People keep thinking the first move is to jump straight into private. It is not. Her own testimony makes that plain. It started when she chose Code Red, private orientation training. That orientation came first. Then she became a private member. So before you hear what changed in her life, understand what opened the door. Not more tactics, not more scavenging, not more disconnected pieces. The orientation, the sequence, the frame that let her see what she had not been seeing.
Do you mind expressing to us, sharing with us what you did since you became a member of the group? What did you do with this content?
Applied it.
Well, okay. I mean, that's simple enough.
Right,
I mean,
right.
It's obvious that you applied it, but I mean, what did you do? I mean, each one of these modules, you had thoughts about these modules just the same as anyone else had thoughts.
Well, correct? Yes, but not, and I haven't even looked at the next module because I have been, from the first time I signed up for Life Omnipotent and I started going through the listening orders. So going through the listening orders over and over and over again, I started applying that content, and before you know it, my thoughts started changing. I realized that I'm creating my struggles. I was the one choosing and creating everything. I thought I was right. I thought I had to argue with everyone. I thought I needed to prove my point. I was always the victim.
And they had to understand.
Yes, I needed to express that they needed to hear me, and none of it worked. And I didn't have very good relationships with my family, my sons, and it showed in my life. I was an alcoholic, disabled. I mean, I had even been in a wheelchair. Couldn't walk. Got hurt at work, and this, Bobby, your content changed my life. I was able to let go of all the medicines, and that was by choosing my thoughts, changing the way I thought instead, because it all starts with the thoughts. And I realized that
it starts with self, but then it comes to the thoughts. So those thoughts, if you don't change them to line with self, the experiences aren't going to change.
Right. And I was stuck in that, if you want to say, rut for many years. And then I started applying the content, and it wasn't overnight. It was a journey. So I understand the frustration some people have, but it's, I guess, everybody's timing and the way they do it, I guess, is different. But
it's all by choices, though. You speed up timing by choosing quicker.
The choice. It's always the choice. You're choosing. Your choices are creating your reality. And if you don't change your thoughts, the reality is not going to change.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this correct. Let me just make sure that I'm hearing this correctly.
Okay.
You're going through the content. The relationships with your family, with everyone, is changed. Am I correct?
Tremendously. I mean, I have great relationships with my family now. It's amazing.
Okay, so you went from not having any relationships with them, basically ostracized or whatever, or argument, arguing, fighting, struggle. It was suffering.
Yes.
It was painful to even be around any family members. Am I correct?
Yes, 100%.
Now it's wonderful. You're happy to be around them, and they're happy to be around you.
They're happy to be around me, and that was the biggest thing, is I couldn't understand what I was doing so wrong and why nobody wanted to be around me. I had the victim mentality. Something's got to be wrong. I don't even know what it is. It couldn't possibly be anything I was doing, but it was. It took me a while to let that go and to get back to, look, I don't have to be a certain way that I've been my entire life. I can be truthful and be authentic. And when I chose that over this perceived personality that I used to have, that everyone said, well, she's like this, and this. I chose to say I love you to my son every day, even though I had never did it hardly ever in his life. And that wasn't comfortable. But I chose, if I wanted to change that relationship. But you knew
it was true because you are love, and you can't be
Yes.
anything other than that, so you might as well express that.
Yes, and I had to start expressing that. And by doing that, the relationship changed. It's amazing now.
Okay.
Now he calls me every day, and he says he loves me, and I don't even have to say it first anymore. It's amazing.
You don't have to bribe him to say it, huh?
No. It is amazing, and I mean, my whole life has changed. Anybody that knows me knows, and now they actually say, I love being around you. You're a blessing to have in my life. And I've never heard that in my entire life.
Would you agree that it requires guidance?
Yes, 100%.
And it requires guidance because we're all one, and when we're not getting the guidance from self or someone that has experienced things, that has waken up to the truth, not this bullshit enlightenment stuff. Okay, that's all narrative stuff. Okay, but waking up to the truth, then that aspect of self can help you and can see things that you may not see and point those things out. And that's what all this content's about. I'm seeing things and I'm sharing those things with everyone, but they're not seeing what I'm saying because they're trying to put it into a linear form. And it's all about the frequency and the vibration, isn't it?
Yes.
And what the conscious is focusing on.
What matters.
Yeah, you start seeing what's actually important instead of what you thought was important.
Right. The meaningful relationships are what was most
where the
important.
value is. Yes.
Yes. Because I've thought, like, well, what's my desired, future self look like? And I don't see it without those people. So it's the people that matter. It was never the house, the car, the money, none of it. It was the people.
Yeah. Well, see, they didn't
good
change.
The house, the car, and the money without them.
Right. Okay. Now, all right, so we've got the relationships there. So what else changed? Well, the first relationship that changed, kind of bypassed that one a little bit, and that was the relationship with your conscious mind and self.
Yes.
Because that had to change before anything else changes.
I had to put the ego away because I was full ego. 100%. I had to be right about everything. I had to argue. I had to prove how smart I was, how much I knew, and I knew better.
Well, it wasn't about being right about everything. It was like how it either you have to be right or you have to prove them wrong. But either way, you have to prove it.
Yes.
In other words, you had something to prove to people.
Yep.
Do you have anything to prove to anyone now?
No.
You are the proof.
It's funny. Right. It is. It's funny.
You being who you are is the proof.
Yes.
It doesn't require saying it.
Yeah.
That's something you'll never say. You'll never walk around saying, see, I proved it to you, I could do it.
No.
Nope.
That, I've actually, the word humble comes to mind. I was never humble. Prideful. I was all that. And now I'm humble. Now I'm willing to accept guidance where before, no, I had to show the way. I thought I had to show the way. But I was pushing everyone away by doing that.
Okay, now let's talk about your physical. Where were you physically? What kind of state? What was your physical state in before getting the content?
I physically disabled, barely able to walk, probably on about 20 to 30 medications a day, plus alcohol to take away the pain for years. And now...
How many years? 1 year, 2 years?
Oh,
two
from
or more.
2005 till 2019, 2020.
Okay.
And that's when we started listening.
Okay.
And
So
then
you started listening to the content. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So what was it like? What was the experience like before the content?
I was miserable. I didn't want to live. There's been plenty of times I thought of suicide. I didn't think I would ever have great relationships with my sons, my grandsons. I didn't see any hope, to be honest.
Didn't see any hope.
Nope.
You were hopeless. Okay.
Yes.
What's it like now, physically?
Physically, man, I would like to say I could. Well, I go to the gym now. I can walk the treadmill. I can do the bikes. And I would have never thought I'd be in a gym. And here I am. I'm like, okay, let's go. Now I'm like, you want to do treadmill for an hour? You know? And I'm happy to go. And it's not even like I wake up, I'm happy. I can choose that. And that's what I do. I choose it. And by choosing it, because I'll wake up in the morning and every once in a while that ego will kick in and it'd be like, no coffee and then
that's the echo. That's the echo of previous choices, and you have to continue with that same choice to where that echo finally dissolves.
Yes, and that's what started happening over the last year, especially over the littlest things. When I first wake up in the morning, I'll catch it. I'm like, no, sit down, sit down. I remember you saying, sit down, put them in the back seat, buckle them up, and I realized I don't even have to think like that. And then I don't, and then instantly, like, I can give an example of dishes. Dishes were a very traumatic thing in my childhood. So for the longest time, I never wanted to do dishes, or I'd always say it's somebody else's job, or my son would make a bunch of food. I'd be like, no, you got to clean that up. And I'd argue with him. It's his mess. He's got to clean it up. And then I finally realized, when I yell at him to do it, he never does it. And then I spend the next 3 days, we're mad at each other, and there's this negative vibe throughout the whole house.
Yeah, all over dirty dishes.
Right. And then I realized, well, look, if I spent 10 minutes of my energy just doing them, everybody benefits, because I'm happy because the kitchen's clean. He's happy because he doesn't have to do dishes. And then we don't have to spend the next 3 days.
That's not the only solution. That's a solution, but it's not the only one. You could say, listen, okay, I know you don't like to do dishes. I don't like to do dishes either, but I'll tell you what. Together, we can do the dishes. We can have a little chat. We'll do the dishes. You can do it any way that you choose to do it.
Yes, but I chose, and what's very fascinating about it is now, even my current place I live, everybody hates doing dishes. And I volunteer, because that is what I call my me time, where if you want to call it meditation.
You're utilizing that time to
And everybody is so happy. And I'm happy because they're happy. Yes.
Because let me ask you this. Let me tell you this, and you tell me this is true or not.
Okay.
You realize that you're going to go and do these dishes. But as you get started in doing these dishes, the dishes are done, and then you realize that they're done, and you don't actually recall doing them all. How often does that happen?
Every day. Every day. Like I said, that was it was I guess you could say, a childhood wound through dishes, through, some bad experiences. However,
See,
I managed to
that's
take
what I was
that
talking about.
and
This
change it.
next module's coming up. It takes your mind outside of being on this third dimension or whatever have you, and takes your mind above that, and you're doing things that are required or more important, or something that is linear
Has
with
joined.
self, rather than being stuck into I'm doing these dishes and I can't stand it.
That testimony does not begin with private membership. It begins with Code Red. Because Code Red is the required orientation that lets you enter the private side with sight instead of confusion. That is where the sequence begins. Go to Code Red and start where she started, with the orientation that comes before private membership. You can find the link to Code Red in the description or pinned in the first comment.